The stakes had never been higher in North America. Tribe Gaming and Elevate had locked spots to the World Finals, but the real story was who would take the third ticket. The race was tight with 5 teams competing for that singular spot, and to add to the drama, several of those teams faced off in the quarterfinals, including SSG versus STMN. With SSG being eliminated 2-3 versus Eternal in the previous month, STMN were able to shorten the gap to only 5 points. A loss would rule either team out from a guaranteed ticket to the World Finals. On top of this, longtime legends Bobby and Sands had missed the playoffs in 2024 after an incredible second place finish at the 2023 World Finals. This match could impact their legacy and whether they were good enough to make Brawl Stars' biggest stage once again. Last time these two teams played, it was a heated reverse sweep by SSG, but this time things played out much differently.
This one's wide open for STMN to go ahead and score a goal. 25 seconds left to go for Space Station to finish things off with a goal of their own and bring us to overtime.
Well, Hypercharge is there, and they're bouncing out the spawn. Sam's getting some heals back from his shots. Now the Herbal Tonic coming down to Bobby will go in, get the stun. Chino has a Hypercharge, might be the same situation as last time. Payne has one of his own. Juan Carlos going to dive down and avoid that. Surviving well, gets the pass off, and Bobby's there waiting for it. SSG again with a great comeback, and they won the last overtime. Can they repeat it?
They're certainly hoping to do so. Here comes a stun in from Bobby. Tacos is a dead man, and his 2 members from STMN defending it. Bobby with a super, looking for a pass, a self-pass forward. Chino's got to pick it up. Juan Carlos, no mind control. Bang! In the bottom right. And SSG lock in a postseason. They're going to the last chance qualifier. A dream evaporated last year comes to reality in 2025.
SSG started the day by making a statement, but the semifinals would be a whole nother ballgame. Next up was number 2 seed Elevate, who'd had a very different year than SSG. Elevate had made every single grand finals in 2025. Meanwhile, SSG had yet to win a single set in the semifinals, let alone make a grand final. On top of that, SSG had mainly prepared for their opening maps, which made them even bigger underdogs, but nonetheless, they still showed their muscles on the field. With Tara being selected first, Elevate picked Nita and Gus on the 2-3 turn. I'm indifferent on the Gus pick, but I did really like the Nita pick for a couple reasons. First of all, Nita is a very solid matchup into Tara, so on paper, Nita is going to be able to shred through any spawners that Tara drops, and on top of that, they now give themselves a little future-proofing into other assassins or tankier brawlers. Most tanks, especially shotgun brawlers, do not like multitasking, and adding Bruce the Bear gives you 2 targets to work with on your team, so having the extra spawner can be a big deal. SSG then clicked Kit and Bonnie. I'm a big fan of the Bonnie matchup into the Gus, and I also just love the state that Bonnie's in the game, but when I saw this 6th pick coming out of Elevate, I thought it was actually really smart in hindsight and made me immediately believe in their draft. Now they have 2 beneficial lane matchups. While I like Bonnie into Gus, Tara versus Nita should favor Nita, and Frank versus Kit should favor Frank. And while Kit is a very good brawler in the game, this is going to be a really difficult composition to jump on between Bruce the Bear giving him trouble, and now he can't shred through Frank very quickly. Frank has 14,000 plus HP, and Kit does about 2k per shot. Obviously, Hypercharge buffs it up a bit, but still, even with the stun, Frank is going to be able to pop off against a brawler like that. I really do feel like Elevate should have the draft here, but nonetheless, SSG put up a strong fight in set 2. 1-1 overall, and Bobby getting sneaky. Hypercharge going down, so Vex pops the gadget. So much damage being dealt, though. Sand scooping every one of the enemy side. Patchy left all alone. Dive in. Purple button clicked, and SSG have tied this set.
Space Station have a comp that navigates these open spaces really well, and Bobby has been the playmaker going in moments like this. Just an easy assassination on Diego, and surely we're not just gonna score off the rip. Okay, Space Station now eyeing off a set win with 1 more goal.
Bobby just sent it right up the gut off the rip in the game. Was in prime position, got around the corner for an easy shot. Now Tara's got a super, a dive in from Chino. They're doubling down on that right-hand side, so Patchy marches up the mid. Stun goes through, tries to slide one through, and just off the mark. Patchy, though, has to move forward. Oh, such low HP. A perfect kick to this right-hand side. Diego Gamer sprinting for the ball. Bobby back. Patchy not available, and the stun goes through. Vex racing to the ball, but can't quite grab it. Stun connects, but Chino was indestructible because of the respawn. SSG have put on a clinic on defense, but they have to do it one last time. With 25 on the clock, it's getting interesting. Vex finally falls. Chino alive, down to a 2v1. Patchy throws down Bruce the Bear. The stun goes through. Bobby looking for a stun of his own, though, and all the members fall. Bobby sitting comfortably in the middle of the map with Sands on the respawn. They have a Hypercharge super available. Elevate, see the writing on the wall. It just might be SSG's month. They are one set away from the first first disruption of our North American Grand Finals. With a 2-0 lead, SSG had the upper hand walking into dueling Beetles. The first selection was Draco, which means Elevate are likely to respond with a Finks composition or Lou to counter the Draco, and Elevate decide to go with Finks plus Hank. This is a very solid 2-3 turn for them. At pick 4 and 5, SSG snagged Lou and Squeak. Squeak's just pretty solid on this map as a control brawler, but I really love the Lou pick. Lou is good for a couple reasons for them. One, it counters the Hank very directly. If you're freezing Hank, you can land shots on him, and he can't rotate his super. And the hardest thing about killing a Hank is the fact that he's cycling in those supers and constantly healing himself, so a freeze allows you to nullify that. On top of that, they're also protecting their Draco. Lou is going to be a great answer into Draco, and now that they have it on their side, Draco's life is possibly going to be a little bit easier. For the final pick, I was fully expecting a Barley here, but they go Stu instead. I think Stu on paper has some very solid matchups on the red side though, so I don't think it's a bad pick by any means. I just think the Barley might have been a bit better. SSG had a solid draft and the opportunity to close the match versus a team that had gotten the better of them all year. Elevate have to be perfect the rest of the way, not just in this set, but for the entire match. Slowly climbing their way back up at 79% for Space Station Gaming. Elevate had quite the gap to go against Chino, going for another gadget, gets value out of it. Vex skating across the map, but has to be careful. Doesn't want it to be on the ice. Sands gets a big time takedown, 90% and climbing. Vex doing everything he can in his power, but the clown pin even comes out. Confidence being showcased, and SSG are on a rocket ship to the postseason and also the grand finals. In the final month of the regular season, Space Station Gaming had broken the streak of North America grand finals. The only team in their way was Tribe Gaming, #1 seed and 4-time monthly final winner in 2025. Between the monthly qualifiers and monthly finals, SSG had a combined 1-9 set score versus Tribe, so this was going to prove to be the biggest challenge yet. Jumping into the match, and it's 1-1 going into Crystal Arcade, where Tribe first picked Cord and SSG responded with Kit and Tara. Kit was a brawler that SSG had prioritized all day long and were quite successful with, and on top of this, Tara gives them a win condition due to her super, especially the hypercharged version of it. You're going to see Tara a lot at a professional level of gym grab right now because she's a solid brawler, deals well with assassins, and has that reverse mechanic with her hypercharged super. If the other team has a gym count and you need to reset it, her super is a great way to spin a game your way, so just having those win conditions is very crucial in a mode like gym grab. On the 4-5 turn, Tribe Gaming picked Janet and Ash. I really like the Janet matchup into Tara in particular because now Janet can pierce through the spawners, and on top of that, she's just a very great gym carrier at a professional level. Janet is a direct answer into Tara because you can pierce through Tara's spawners, and on top of that, Janet is an excellent gym carrier because she has a get out of jail free card with her super. When you go into the sky, you are indestructible, and you can fly away from enemies or towards them if you need to rush to the other side. So there's a lot of flexibility with this pick. Ash provides health points and is a solid lane, especially in RBM's hands, who's one of the best Ash players on the planet. For the final pick, SSG selected Crow, and I was more expecting something like a Gus who could also be a mid and cover into the Janet a little bit better, but Crow's a very meta option and it adds to the playmaking abilities of Tara and Kit. I feel like Tribe have solid matchups on paper, but SSG certainly have more win conditions, and that's a big deal for gym grab and something that should not be underestimated. With a composition that had the potential to get a reset at any moment, SSG had a real chance to take the lead in the grand finals.
As long as they can break open that right side, they're in a pretty good position, but they still have to be mindful of RBM's hypercharge and super. Bobby's just gonna go for it, stun through the wall, couldn't quite clip it on Luffy. Whoa! Predicts the jump from Luffy! What are you doing, man? Space Station Gaming running away with 12 gems.
And now Zeus in the skies has to find a takedown onto either of these brawlers. Bobby low HP. Zeus has to approach and get even closer. A dive in from Sands for defense. Luffy now encroaching. Gets the kill. It's a trade. Bobby diving in. Won't survive. RBM with 2 gems and low HP has to back down.
Space Station Gaming, they're lacking on utility. No super for Sands or Bobby or Chino. Luffy has a super of his own. RBM's going to go ahead and pop this hypercharge. Sands doing his best to press him out. Unable to do so. Just a few seconds to go. Chino using Bobby as a buffer zone. Sands picking up as many gems as he can hold. And Zeus is running away with 6, but it's still not enough to tie.
He's wasting time in the air too. He can't attack from this distance. Luffy dragging one to the Shadow Realm. 9 seconds left, and Sands has to hold on for dear life. There is a gym that can spawn in the middle, and somehow they have to find it. RBM sprinting over there. Bobby low HP, but not enough to get a reset and the gyms at the same time. Somehow, amidst the carnage, SSG survive. Has to be careful because he knows Bobby could be somewhere hiding.
Well, here he comes. Luffy evaluating what his move is going to be. Stick him in the Shadow Realm, he says, but Sands has the hypercharge. That's enough to take down Luffy if he comes back out, but Sands is holding on to 11. He's safe and sound. Only 13 seconds seconds to go for Tribe Gaming to make a beeline across the entire arena. And Zeus has only just gotten his super. Doesn't even have a hypercharge. 5 seconds to go. Luffy needs to make a miracle happen. Almost does. Avoids a super from Bobby, but Sans is still alive. And Spacestation Gaming take a set lead.
Spacestation Gaming were now one set away from taking their first grand finals of 2025. Hideout was the map for set 4, and to this point it had been a pretty normal draft. Kaze is a pretty good one for the map and mode. Bonnie and Ollie was a combination that SSG used successfully earlier and still works on a map like this, and Gus and Charlie are just solid meta brawlers overall, so can't fault Tribe for taking those. SSG's last pick though was super creative, and in hindsight a really creative solution to deal with Tribe. Amber was their pick, and while not normally used in Bounty, I actually think it makes a ton of sense in the Tribe composition. Amber gave SSG control, range, and could easily charge her super due to the assassin Kaze on the other end. And on top of this, as an added benefit, if there were spiderlings or cocoons, Amber could shred right through them because of her high DPS. I think this is an excellent pick that was probably on the fly, so a ton of credit to SSG for coming up with this in the final moments. This spontaneous draft gave SSG a great chance to earn their first grand finals of 2025.
It's 20 seconds to go, and Space Station are hunkering down. They've got good kill capabilities. Bobby also is able to go for a defensive hypnosis. Gonna be able to get a shield. Chino has a hypercharge. Here comes the hypercharge oil down. Everyone's got to move away. Hypnosis on a Zeus gets 1 kill. Looking for 2. RBM falls. Luffy, the last possibility, the last bastion of offense for Tribe Gaming, can't do it. And Space Station go to match point. Can't really afford to get taken down. Really, they never can. Ooh, hypercharge in. Everyone's caught in it. They don't know where anyone is from Tribe Gaming, but they've got vision on the left side. That's 1 kill for Tribe. Cocoon on the right. An attempt at revenge for Luffy. Chino's trying to get back inside the turret on the left side, is able to survive, and also shrugs off 1 more shot from RBM. Space Station still in the lead by just 2 stars. 20 seconds to go. Bobby on the right side moved away, and the hypnosis in onto Luffy. That makes 1. Zeus, hypercharge style, looks for Sans. Chino has a super. Is he going to use it? 10 seconds to go. Tribe Gaming only have 1 more move to make this happen, and as the clock ticks down, they're running out of options. A jump to the sky, a takedown on Zeus, and Tribe Gaming fall. The curtain falls. The old guard of North American Brawl are still here.
Up until August, SSG had not won a single set in the semifinals, and now they were monthly finals champions. The drought for Bobby and Sans was over, and SSG more than earned the 3rd spot in North America. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this spicy month in North America. If you made it this far, it would mean a lot if you dropped a like on the video, and if you find yourself coming back in the regular, subscribing to the channel would go a long way. Appreciate you all, and with that being said, we'll see you in the next one.